Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Stott and I'm the Emperor of Stomaria. Today I want to give a progress report for Southwood, a Stomarian province. Now before I get started, I should stress that there is a fire going at the moment and I do want to keep an eye on it, so I'm not going to stray too far away from that for obvious reasons. However, I did want to quickly make a progress report because this will be the last video that I do this year, and it wasn't actually something that I was intending to do at all, but I actually came down to the woodland, to Southwood and Wayward South, the adjoining province obviously, to discuss with the tree surgeon the removal of these pine trees. Now unfortunately I have been told that the tree surgeon will no longer be coming today. However, because I was already down here, I did want to make the effort to make use of the time, and so I have been continuing my purge of the land, and burning a lot of the excess wood has a large part to do with that. So I should say that the rubbish pile has not yet gone, because we still need to go through a lot of the stuff in the cabin, which has been organised to some degree or another, but it's for King Daniel. That's something I'm going to have to get used to saying now, as it's going to be something that's installed in granite on this land, King Daniel Brooks. So King Daniel needs to sort out the stuff in the cabin there, and I really can't do much until that happens. So that's probably going to happen in January at this point. I did see Daniel a few hours ago actually. He popped down just to see how it was and all the rest of it. So it's something that's on both of our radars, but in the meantime I have continued to burn, as I say, what I hope is going to be one of the last major piles of wood on the land. So if I take you back here, I'll show you what I have pulled out. So there was a wooden box full of toys in there. The box was no good, so that's been burnt. I've just popped the toys over there for the moment. But under here was all decking, and so I've gone through and pulled all of that out. I hate decking with a passion at the best of times anyway, but this was particularly bad. So that's all been pulled out and burnt, along with this pile of wood that was here and here, which was surplus to requirement for the cabin from what I remember. And yes, I will show a clip here just so you can see what it used to look like compared to what it looks like now. But this area has been now more or less fully cleared out at this point and ready for the next phase as and when. Now all of this lot here also needs a bit of a sort out, but I suspect most of it will find its way into the cabin, because as I say, the cabin has been organised and set up in some form or another. It's got straw bales and some tools and bits and bobs in there, nothing elaborate or expensive or anything like that. In the fullness of time, this cabin will also come down, I suspect, as we get something a bit more professionally built here, if it's even required. And for that sort of thing, we'll obviously get the necessary planning approval, plan permission and all that jazz. But until then, it will serve its purpose. Move away from the fire. Now, the leaves are another ongoing battle, which is going to require a leaf blower at some point, because the idea is to gather this up and pile it up and compost it, really. We obviously have our compost bins, which are already full, so there's obviously no capacity for that. And as you can see, we do have a lot of leaves on the land. So we just want to clear it and get ready for additional seeding, because next spring we're going to be doing more clover and more grass seed. We're hoping that what we had planted last year, or this year rather, will come back, but we want to add to that. We want to make sure that the land is as green as possible for the Imperial Summit in June 2025, as this will probably be the last time we have the Imperial Summit here, all being well. So there is a good opportunity for us to really make it a special event. We want to have the bouncy castle set up, we want the stalls set up, we want to have the competitions, we want to have the feasting, We want a meeting of different leaders of different communities and different nations, as well as the citizens or subjects of those nations, all gathering together to break bread, build closer ties with one another, and just purging the land of anything that's not necessary, keeping everything to a minimum, and then rebuilding it back up using that minimalistic mindset to keep everything streamlined, productive and organised, just as we've done over here with the raised beds. That is the game plan. And just making everything as neat and tidy and organised as possible. And that is what I've been doing for the last year or so. Because I'm obviously not local to the area, it is more challenging for me than it is for others, certainly in times past, to actually come down here and actually do any real works. And this is the first time I've been down here in some time, perhaps a month or two, I think. So as I say, the next plot of land that we do get, one of them at least, will hopefully be closer to home, and I'll be able to spend a bit more time there and be able to be a bit more full on with the works that I undertake. And that's why I am keen over the next 3 or 4 months to get this land basically where it needs to be, to get down take down the trees, to log them, season them, stack them somewhere, and then it should be a case of literally coming back to harvest the rhubarb or preparing for events or anything like that. But there's going to be no animals here to feed, there's going to be no produce here. That's going to require constant attention, which is why we have the rhubarb. It's quite hardy, perennial plants that doesn't require much in the way of nutrients, which is why all of these beds have rhubarb in them. And then of course we have the raspberries and the strawberries and all the rest of it in the cage over there. But none of these require us to be on the land constantly monitoring them, looking after them, and all the rest of it. We really want to just leave it to its own devices, the land, and then come back when it's absolutely necessary to, rake up the leaves, or to harvest the produce, or to check on the wood, or to prepare it in some way or distribute it in some way. But trying to keep this particular province, this particular plot, its uses to a minimal on our end, because we want to move on to bigger and better things, and this will always be a part of the Empire and a part of Stomaria and of course Wayward. But we do want to start looking at other provinces and other plots at this time. And there's also some potential developments that are going to be taking place next year, which will potentially mean that we do acquire additional plot next to this one. So adjacent to Wayward South and Southwood is another plot which may or may not be coming up for sale in the near future, which we could potentially be buying, and I will potentially touch on that later on in the new year, because I don't want to jump the gun. But in terms of what we are doing today, or what I am doing today, it is very much just a case of continuing to clear out the land. If you want to learn more about Stomaria, or play an active role in our development and expansion, visit our website at www.stomaria.com and find out what it means to be a Stomarian.